Yo, what is going on guys? AGL here, and today I am back with a new video. This time I'm going to be talking about mix-ups, how they work, and how to tell if they are real or not. I am mainly going to talk about true and real mix-ups and not gimmicks or resets. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first, we're going to talk about high-low mix-ups because there is no protection whatsoever. So when you're going for a high-low mix-up, always try to find a way to actually jail your opponent into a true block string, like Vegeta's mix-up with Kid Buu or Bardock B for example. That mix-up is ridiculously strong because it's a true 50-50. What I mean by this is that, first of all, other than sparking or guard cancel, you cannot get out of that mix-up. And a guard cancel is always a huge risk because you could get punished and potentially get TOD'd. So other than those two options, you can't really do anything. You cannot mash, you cannot reflect, you cannot backdash, you just have to hold that mix-up and guess. And those types of mix-ups are the strongest high-low mix-ups in the game that you could do, because you are truly jailed from the moment you are put in a block string all the way till the end of the mix-up. So if your team can allow such mix-ups, you should definitely go for those. Now, there are other high-low 50-50 mix-ups, but they're not as impossible to avoid because there's actually a gap in the block string where you can reflect and avoid the 50-50 situation. For example, base Vegeta's Destructo Disc can lead to a true 50-50 if it connects. But the downside, or what makes it weaker than the previous mix-up, is that it's not a true block string from start to finish. Which means that at some point, you will have the possibility to reflect, and that time is when base Vegeta is going to Destructo Disc. But you need to keep in mind that your opponent knows that you can reflect his disc, so he could easily bait your reflect and punish you. So in a way, it's kind of an RPS situation that favors the attacker. So that's probably the second best high-low mix-up in the game, and there are a few characters that have this mix-up, like base Vegeta, Kid Buu, Blue Jira, etc. The benefit of these type of mix-ups is that they don't require a high block stun assist, like the first one for example. This mix-up can actually be used by everyone in the corner by using a system mechanic which is Super Dash. After you Super Dash, you can call your assist and set up a true 50-50 situation. This is a strong mix-up, but in this case you can also reflect and you can 2H in the corner. But as I said, this is an RPS situation, since you're obviously not gonna be doing it every time, so you could definitely punish your opponent if he goes for a 2H or reflect. Now, you could go for the usual high-low mix-up after a beam for example, but it's not a true mix-up. In most cases, this mix-up is only true when you go high, but it is generally fake when you go for low, since you probably could reflect it or even backdash. Now I'm going to talk about the more confusing mix-up for a lot of people, which is the cross-up mix-up. Now, the main difference between the high-low and the cross-up mix is that the game has cross-up protection, which basically means that if you go for cross-up in a true block string, the game will automatically block your cross-up. So when you're training on your mix-ups, make sure that you set your opponent on first guard only, make sure that your high and lows actually jail, and for cross-ups, make sure that when you hit your opponent, it's between 3 and 6 frames, I believe. Why is it important to hit your opponent in those specific frames? It's because you are frame trapping them. Pretty much what you're doing is you're breaking the cross-up protection while at the same time having the advantage. So your opponents cannot mash, cannot jump, cannot backdash. They can reflect, but it's kinda useless because if they reflect and you go to the other side, they will get a Ki Blast instead and you'll just punish them anyways. So yeah, this is basically how to know and work on your true mix-ups. That's pretty much all I had to say about this. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.